Welcome to the Bluffton News. I'm Anneliza Itkor. It's been a very busy week in Bluffton and the surrounding areas, and we've got a lot to cover today. We'll be discussing the latest news, taking a look at what's going on in Bluffton's business and entertainment, and hearing from this week's newsmakers. This week, Bluffton's Affordable Housing Committee Chairman Fred Hamilton will give us an insider's take on the Wharf Street redevelopment project, and Colonel David F. McAllister of the Bluffton Police Department offers some advice on keeping Bluffton safe. But first, let's take a look at Bluffton's current headlines. More budget tightening is likely on the horizon for Beaufort County's public schools. Chief Operational Services Officer Phyllis White told the Board of Education on Friday that about $6 million in cuts will be needed in 2012-2013 to keep the school district's spending at the same level as the current fiscal year. According to White, the district could save about $2.6 million by eliminating about 45 positions district-wide. The district currently has 2,316 employees. It would be the fourth consecutive year of staff cuts. About 200 positions have been eliminated since 2010. White said the district is nearing the point where further staff cuts would be nearly impossible. Board members discussed how the district so far has been able to make cuts while improving student test scores, ratings on state report cards, and other measures of school performance. The district expects to give its first budget presentation to Beaufort County Council in late April or early May. Hilton Head Hospital overcame competitors' objections and won its appeal with a state agency to build an outpatient center in Bluffton. The hospital announced Friday it received approval from the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control to build an $18 million outpatient center near US 278 and Buck Island Road. The 60,000 square foot two-story building would include diagnostic imaging services, digital mammography, and a variety of adult and pediatric physical, speech, and occupational therapies. The current Bluffton Okatee Outpatient Center will continue to provide primary health care and ambulatory surgery for surrounding neighborhoods, including Sun City Hilton Head. Wound care services at Coastal Carolina Hospital in Hardeeville will be moved to the new location. Construction of the outpatient center is expected to take 18 months and will start as soon as possible. A two-story McDonald's restaurant with a double drive-through is nearly ready to open in Beaufort. Owner John McCoy held a VIP breakfast and ribbon cutting Thursday and expects to open to customers by the end of next week. The grand opening celebration is set for April 13th. The restaurant is at 2424 Boundary Street near the intersection with Robert Smalls Parkway. The city is about to begin renovations that will reconfigure that intersection, which will put McDonald's right on the corner. The building has a modern style and includes flat screen TVs, free Wi-Fi, and a toddler zone. Only 4 of 18 open seats representing all or parts of Beaufort County will be contested in the June 12th political party primaries. The filing period for the primaries closed at noon Friday, March 30th. Party nominations for 2 Beaufort County Council seats and the County Clerk of Court office will be up for grabs in two-person contests. A new South Carolina House of Representatives seat in District 120 will involve a 3-way race for a spot in the November general election. Also, 2 incumbents gained challengers from an opposing party Friday. Democrat Bobby Rose filed to run against U.S. Representative Tim Scott in the general election, and State Senator Clementa Pinckney, a Democrat, will be challenged for the 46th district seat by Republican Leilani Bessinger of Beaufort County. April marks the start of Beaufort County's participation in the annual statewide Zero Tolerance for Litter campaign. The month-long event seeks to increase public awareness of the effects of littering in South Carolina. It will kick off with a gathering of participating agencies at a press event Wednesday at the State House in Columbia. A proclamation officially declaring April as Zero Tolerance for Litter Month in Beaufort County will be presented during the April 9 County Council meeting. And finally, Riverview Charter School will move into Shell Point Elementary School's building this summer. The Beaufort County Board of Education unanimously approved a 2-year lease, allowing the charter school to move into a building that the school board voted to shutter at the end of this school year. The lease is about $270,000 a year and begins July 15th. Moving to Shell Point will give Riverview the space to enroll 456 students next year. The charter school's board recently approved enrolling that number up from 342, but plans for an enrollment lottery are still underway. For more information on these headlines and more, please check out the media sources you see listed on your screen. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Coming up, BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun will give us details on other top stories when we return with Hot Off the Presses on the Bluffton News. Welcome back. BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun joined us now with some insight into Bluffton's top news stories. BJ, let's start off with one of the more controversial topics in Bluffton right now. What are the details about the recent Lanise lawsuit settlement?
Well, as you know, Brian Lanise was severely beaten in his own backyard here in Bluffton in 2008, and he subsequently sued Beaufort County and others, claiming that the two paramedics that responded mishandled the treatments. And last week, the county and other defendants settled out of court for $150,000 to Brian to avoid further litigation. So that phase of the process is complete.
Right, and I understand that the Lanises are required to kind of keep quiet about any details as a result of the settlement. Is that true?
That's right, exactly. It was obtained by Freedom of Information, and that's how we got the figure.
Well, maybe this will help put to rest what's been kind of an unpleasant episode.
Yes.
Why don't you, on a lighter note, tell us what's happening with the Bluffton streetscape?
Sure. As we've reported before, the first two phases of the streetscape is complete, and that runs from Bruin Road on up to Pin Oak, and what they've done now is, with the urging of some of the residents that live along there and some of the businesses, they're saying, let's get the final phase done. The sidewalks, the lighting, the landscape, the parking, and they've approved the $1.2 million into the budget for next year, but as is always the case, the question is, will that money be appropriated? But we're hoping it will, because that will take it up to Whispering Pines, and again, complete the process that hopefully will make Old Town Bluffton more of a destination rather than just a thoroughfare.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see all the improvements that are happening in Bluffton.
Oh, it's great. It really does.
Well, speaking of further improvements, have I heard correctly that SC 46 Scenic Byway is going to be extended?
Yes, it has. It's been actually signed into law by Governor Nikki Haley. And what that does is it extends the Scenic Byway from Jasper County line down to Old Town, which it is now, but it will also include Boundary and Wharf Streets and take the Scenic Byway designation all the way down Alljoy to Brighton Beach.
Now, is that going to have a big impact on Bluffton traffic?
No, not necessarily, but the biggest impact, I believe, will be that now they can apply for funding for that portion of the Scenic Byway from the state in the form of state grants that will help them maintain and upgrade those roads. So it's a big impact from that viewpoint, and also from a tourism viewpoint. People will again follow that perhaps all the way down to the beach.
That's terrific. Well, BJ, thanks so much for joining us today. When we return, Shelley West Hodges highlights some of Bluffton's growing business scene in this week's Bluffton Business Report right here on the Bluffton News. Tonight on the Bluffton News, Shelley West Hodges joins us to discuss three growing businesses in Bluffton. Now, Shelley, with high season heating up and visitors flocking to the area, and the snowbirds are now heading home, it seems that local moving companies would be keeping busy. Are you finding that to be the case?
Yes, Anneliza, I have Stacy Hyatt and her husband Gary Hyatt, who own my friend's truck, are really busy doing a lot of commercial moves and residential moves, as well as, they do different services for helping people pack and helping them relocate into the area, and also, within area moves as well.
I was going to say, it has to be interesting to being a moving company in this area, because there are so many demands, not just residential, but do they do business moving as well?
Yes, they do. Any businesses that are upgrading or moving from warehouse to warehouse or office to office, they do all that. They'll pack them up and move them. They also do something very interesting that's also really busy for them this time of year is interior installs. So they come in and help interior designers stage and set up after they've gotten finished designing indoor homes, and so they have different features that they offer.
I've had friends who have used a service like that, and it really has helped them sell their home more successfully. So that's a great service to offer. How do the Bluffton residents get involved with your friend's company?
They just need to go to myfriendstruck.com on the net, and they're also on Facebook.
All right. Well, you know, winter, it was unbelievably mild, and it feels like summer heat is already underway. What can you tell us about preparing for these rising temperatures?
Well, it's interesting because of the fact that we did have a very mild winter. That Covert Air spoke to Mike Covert, and they are really busy doing a lot of new air conditioning units. People, since they've used their units throughout the year, are having to get extra services and get new units and cleaning out their filter system and really prepping for the summer. So they are very busy right now.
Does the pollen impact the filter systems?
Yes, it does. And one of the things that they promote is helping you have clean air in your home and keeping your systems clean and keeping them running and charging them. So they're doing really well with that at this time.
Well, I'm sure that this weather is going to keep them busy. How do we get in touch with Covert Air?
It's covertair.com.
All right. Well, that's easy to remember. Now, you always have good advice for us when it comes to networking and marketing. What do you have for our viewers this week?
Well, there's another group out there. It's called Triad Design Group, and Rob Limbo and Christina do a great job helping businesses brand and have some cohesiveness with their marketing program. And they're seeing a lot of people revamping their websites at this time and doing some things to really jazz up their business and get the word out, and working with social media and advertising. They have several big projects they're working on at this time, one of which is Colleton River. They're helping them with the magazine. And the other thing they're working with the Greater Bluffton Chamber to get the marketing program going for that as well. So they do a great job.
So, it's important that an entrepreneurial business be able to get in touch with someone like this company. So if I were a new business, Shelley, how would I get in touch with these people?
You can reach them at triaddesign.com, or you can call the Greater Bluffton Chamber and we'll put you in the right direction.
That's great. Thanks, Shelley. Up next, Fred Hamilton, Bluffton's Affordable Housing Committee Chairman, is going to share the latest on the Wharf Street Development Project. And you do not want to miss newsmaker Colonel David F. McAllister as he updates us on Bluffton's crime trends and safety status. All that when we return with more Bluffton news. Welcome back to the Bluffton News. The Wharf Street redevelopment project has been all over the news lately, and with good reason. Joining me now is Fred Hamilton, chairman of the Affordable Housing Committee. Thanks for joining us, Fred.
Thanks for having me.
Fred, let's start out with why the town of Bluffton decided to build the Wharf Street redevelopment project.
Absolutely. Back in 2005, when I ran for town council, and we interviewed and had workshops with a lot of the community, and this was something that pretty much was talked about very much, as well as what the needs were for how we could serve the people, and I ran on that platform that I would make sure that affordable housing would be something that we would put before council and see that it could actually come to fruition. It took a lot of work, but it actually came to fruition, and we were proud of it. But it also fit into our town comprehensive plan to revitalize neighborhood stabilization program that help us to find affordable homes that are with quality and fit different lifestyles as well as income.
I think it's such an important issue. You know, I relocated here from 2 large cities, and when I came to this small town area, you don't really think first about affordable housing, but it's just as important an issue as it is in the larger cities. Can you give me some more details on the project?
Sure. Well, we've built 6 cottages, square footage range from 330 to 1,155 square feet homes. Out of the 6, we have 2 3-bedrooms, 1 single bedroom, and the other's 2-bedroom. And they were built energy efficient. They have lots of quality amenities like gasless water, hot water heaters, and rain barrels. So we make sure that we build these homes affordable, but we didn't build them cheap.
Yeah, they sound lovely, and I know that the greenery had a big hand in the landscaping of the area. Real quick, how does one go about buying one of these homes?
Well, first you have to be a first-time home buyer, and then you have to qualify as below the 80% of the area median income, and you can contact our website at the town hall, or you can go to the town hall itself and apply for an application. And there's a few other steps that you go through as a home buyers class. But we have today about 60 applications for 6 homes.
Wow, so you've got a lot to sift through there. Well, Fred, thank you so much, and thanks for helping bring such a great opportunity to the residents of Bluffton.
Thank you.
Along with an uncertain economy comes a rise in crime rates. Today, Colonel David F. McAllister has some important information and advice for us. Welcome to the Bluffton News, Chief McAllister.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
For starters, can you tell us what trends you're seeing in property crimes?
You know, the biggest item we're seeing is crimes of opportunity, where folks, we live in a beautiful area. We feel safe. Some people live behind gated communities, and we forget that there are people that are just wandering around looking for crimes of opportunity. This last month, we had over 80 thefts from motor vehicles where people leave their cars unlocked with valuables inside, and it's really a very significant problem. We need to remember that we have to take an active role on our own public safety.
I think we get a little lulled into a false sense of security. I mentioned earlier that I relocated here from a very large city where, I mean, heck, we had bars on our windows in our homes. And then you come here and it feels kind of like paradise, and you think, I don't have to lock my car, but just because it's a pretty place doesn't mean all the people are pretty.
That's very true, and it's also very dangerous because people leave things, including firearms, in their car, and once that firearm is taken, it's on the street, and it's very dangerous. So we really need to kind of get out and remind people to do things to keep themselves safe. Lock your car doors, lock your house doors. Install some good lighting around your house. These are simple things that can be done to keep you and your family safe.
Those are simple. And do you have any other suggestions? So lock your car doors, lock your house, good lighting. Any other suggestions you can make to help citizens stay safe?
The other item, it's interesting. I hear a lot from citizens who say, well, I saw something and I didn't want to bother the police. We know you're busy. It's not a bother. Please call us. Let us come out and look at a situation. We're more than happy to deem it as not suspicious or okay, but I'd rather hear about it while it's occurring than later on. A perfect example, we had a neighbor who saw someone they knew didn't belong around their neighbor's house. This was a few months ago. Turns out they were stealing items from the home, but didn't think to call because, well, I didn't want to bother the police. We'd rather get bothered in the front end than have to investigate it on the back end.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, Chief, what can you tell me about police accreditation?
Well, we're very proud. When I came here 6 years ago, we made it a priority to get accredited by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. It's an international group. It is the highest standards in law enforcement, the gold standard. And what it does, it requires us to do certain things and have certain standards that I think make The citizens have more confidence in us and makes the citizens safer. People ask me all the time, well, why get accredited? Well, you wouldn't go to a college where it wasn't accredited. You wouldn't go to a hospital that wasn't accredited. Why would you allow people to keep you safe, to carry guns, badges, and not require them to meet the highest levels of standards? And we just recently got reaccredited for another 3-year term, so we're very proud of that.
It's terrific to know that the Bluffton Police Department is taking those extra steps. Chief McAllister, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This week, our very own Rodney Vaughn is on location with a special entertainment report when we come back with more Bluffton news. Today on the Bluffton News Entertainment Report, Rodney Vaughn is at the Hayward House in Bluffton with news of a very special upcoming event. Rodney?
Thanks, Anneliza. I'm here today with Maureen Richards, the director of the Hayward House Historic Center in historic Old Town Bluffton. Maureen, thanks for joining us. What are some things that people can expect to see when they visit the Hayward House?
Hayward House is a house museum offering guided tours of the house and grounds, as well as walking tours of the 1 square mile nationally registered historic district.
I know I've brought several friends here when they come to visit Bluffton, and it's a great place. Lots of people are going to be visiting this summer, and why should people start their tour of Old Town Bluffton here at the Hayward House?
Hayward House is the perfect place to start your visit to Old Town Bluffton. We are the official welcome center offering free information of things to see and do in town, as well as maps of the nationally registered historic district, as well as the galleries, shops, and restaurants.
That's exactly right. I picked up a couple of maps this morning while I was here, and I know that you also have some other information about tours and things that are available in the area. Can you tell us how people can get involved with the Historic Preservation Society and where they can get some more information about the Hayward House?
Yes, please stop by and visit us. We're on the corner of Boundary and Bridge Street in Old Town Bluffton, and we are open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturdays 11 to 2. We also have a website, www.haywardhouse.org, and also a Facebook page.
Well, please visit any of the information that Maureen visited, their websites, or stop here in person. If you're interested in something else that's happening at the Hayward House, there is an event sponsored by the Old Town Bluffton Merchant Society coming up in conjunction with Earth Day and the Farmers Market. On April the 19th, which is a Thursday, from 11 to 2, the Merchants Group will be sponsoring a garden luncheon. This luncheon will feature speakers, green Earth Day booths, and events. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door. You can get more information on that event by calling 757-4040 or visiting any of the local merchants. That ties in conjunction with the Farmers Market, which is well in gear at the summertime hours from 2 to 7, a couple of streets away from here on Calhoun Street. And thanks so much for joining us today, and back to you, Anneliza.
Well, I can't think of a better way to capture the spirit of spring. Thanks, Rodney. Now it's time to meet Patches. She is a very pretty little girl, and I think she knows it. She's approximately 6 years old and very easygoing. Patches is a sun lover who would make a terrific reading companion. If you're looking for a stunning feline friend to love and care for, Patches might be just the one for you. For more information on Patches, contact Brookshaven Animal Rescue at 25 Buck Island Road in Bluffton or call 843-757-7387. Thanks for joining us tonight for the news program that is all Bluffton all the time. I'm Anneliza Itkor for the Bluffton News. We'll see you next time.